Welcome to the Drew Yari Show.
I love my brother. I have always loved my brother. When you're a little kid and you're going to the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia, and here he comes, tall, blonde, every woman in the place going absolutely nuts for him. I'd say at one point he was my hero. You know, there's this regular jilted and lazy trope commentators in wrestling will use. You'll hear them say, the prodigal son. And I have to wonder, I'm curious, who out there listening actually understands the morals and the implications in Luke 15:11 in that parable. There's two brothers. One does everything right. One works very hard, tries to keep his family whole. The other goes abroad, whores about, and makes every conceivable wrong choice you could possibly make. But it's the first brother who is equally in the wrong because he has an expectancy from the father for all his good deeds, and none of it mattered. The father loved them the same. I've sat on enough couches telling my story to know which brother I am. I'm good with it. And this notion of brother versus brother, of natural versus nightmare, it's all very marketable, it's all very romantic, albeit not very accurate. What's accurate is that this match is generation versus generation. I am not here to kill Dustin Rhodes. I'm here to kill the Attitude Era. My entire lot, my whole class of peers has been compared to these gilded late 90s through the early 2000s for over a decade, and it's an utter sham. Sure, you paved the roads for us, but gosh, you set the speed markers at 35 because you are terrified of any of us putting our foot down on the pedal. You mean to tell me some pissant bodybuilder making every match a no DQ, meandering around the crowd, throwing the jib cam at his opponent compares with a Kenny Okada match? Or some bra and panties spectacular can match up with what the women did last September 1st? Or even Dwayne, as electric as it was, rhyming and raising, was it really better than what Punk said sitting on that stage? Listen, I am the least Rhodes of the Rhodes. But they gave me a pair of boots. I've got the basics. When you do something to death, when you ride something to death, that's literally what happens. When that animal can't go anymore and it falls out on the trail and you can feel the tension in its eyes, in its fluttered breaths of panic, and it knows it's going to die and it wants to die. You don't just leave it because you love it. You pull from the hip. You roll your fingers on the steel of the chamber. You pull the hammer back. You do not anticipate the recoil, and you blow it away. Like I said, I love my brother.
Hey guys, welcome to the Drew Yari Show. I don't know if I should edit that or not. Welcome to the Drew Yari Show. This is your host, Drew Yari. It is Wednesday. Good news. I was able to get it to where I don't have to work Wednesdays, so now I can just record Wednesdays. I may even do a live show every now and then, but for now I'm just recording. As you can see, that was actually my first time watching the whole Cody Double or Nothing video on their what should we call it, on their AEW YouTube page, I guess. It says Nightmare Family, but yeah, that was my first time watching it. Couple things, I guess. Well, because I only watched that one portion where he's talking about the Attitude Era. He's obviously talking about Triple H, as you guys, if you guys don't remember, at the Hall of Fame, Triple H, made a comment to Billy Gunn, because Billy Gunn's working with AEW, and he told him, Vince will buy that pissant company and then fire you again, as a notion of AEW, obviously. Cody, who apparently can't take a joke, who, sees himself as literally Jesus, wrestling Jesus, Cody Christ, decides to go on this, diatribe and just talk about people that, it's weird because he talks about Triple H, which I expected. Talks about bra and panties match. He talks about The Rock for no reason, which I don't see what his beef is with The Rock. I mean, obviously, it seems like he's in character. He's saying, that, The Rock's promos weren't as good as CM Punk, talking on stage. I was kind of thinking in my head, okay, The Rock has had a billion, literally a billion, and billions. Sorry. He's literally had a billion memorable moments, memorable promos. If you think about, his backstage promos with Jonathan Coachman, him talking shit about Stephanie McMahon to her face, Vince McMahon, Stone Cold, Triple H, him and Mick Foley, the Rock and Sock connection. CM Punk's, pipe bomb promo, yeah, it's memorable, but is there really anything else you can name after his pipe bomb promo that's memorable? You can name somewhat memorable matches, but can you really name anything else that CM Punk has done after that pipe bomb promo? Yeah, he got over, and I'm using quotation fingers. He got over. He was champion for over 400 days, but it seemed like it didn't matter because they were always pushing for John Cena being the main event. I remember there was one pay-per-view, CM Punk was the champion. It was him and Daniel Bryan. The main event ended up being John Cena versus John Laurinaitis. And then the pay-per-view after that, same thing, John Cena versus John Laurinaitis. Actually, I think it was John Cena versus The Big Show, I think. Yeah, they always went another way to put John Cena in the main event. Because John Cena was a star. CM Punk, he was a great wrestler, but he just wasn't a star. He didn't look like a star. And I like CM Punk, but I'm just doing the eyeball test. I'm just going by what people say, what people, see when they see a guy like CM Punk. But for Cody to make that comment is just ludicrous. I mean, I know, again, he's Cody Christ, and I have to bow, get on my hands and knees and kiss the ground he walks on, because he's my Lord and Savior. He died for all my sins to make wrestling amazing. But it was just a ludicrous comment. The Triple H comment, I guess it made sense. It was kind of coming. And then him talk about bra and panties matches. I mean, the whole basis of this promo was about Goldust, or Dustin Runnels. Because as for you that don't know, Dustin Rhodes, left WWE, quit. He kind of silently quit. He even posted a video where he was kind of saying goodbye to the Goldust character. And he's going to wrestle Cody at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view, which is actually this month. It's, the first day of May. It's literally May 1st. So this is basically a promo of, Cody. Now I understand why he had to say what he said about the Attitude Era, because, Goldust is a representation of the Attitude Era. He was Goldust. He played, this flamboyant, you don't know if he's gay or straight or bi character. So it makes sense, the promo, but I don't know. I don't know if it was supposed to be in character, but I'll watch Double or Nothing. When is it? I actually have the page up right now. Double or Nothing, May 25th. All right, and I'm forgetting what the matches are. Yeah, Hangman Page versus Pac, who's, Neville. SoCal Uncensored, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, Scorpio Sky versus, I don't know who this person is, Kima? Kenny Omega versus Jericho, the dream match for the second time. Dr. Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose versus Kylie Ray. I kind of know who Britt Baker is because she's dating Adam Cole. Cody versus Dustin Rhodes, which a lot of people are hyped up about it, which I don't know why they should be. I mean, I'm pretty sure it'll be a good match, but come on, let's just be real. And then an over the budget battle royal. The only names I recognize from this are Brian Pillman Jr., who I actually follow on Twitter, Joey Janela, who I actually like, Chuck Taylor. I haven't really seen him wrestle. Trent Beretta, and then Glacier, like Glacier from WCW Glacier, huh? And then I don't know if this is the main event, but the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros, Pentagon, and Rey Fenix for the AAA tag titles. Again, I'll watch the pay-per-view whenever it does come on. I'm assuming it's on a Sunday, right? All right, today's the first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5, 12. So it's on a Saturday. Okay. Yeah, I'll watch it. I'll pay money for it, and by pay money for it, I will look for a link to watch on. So I'm pretty sure it'll be a good pay-per-view. You have good matches on there. But is it going to be like, the greatest thing ever? Is it going to be bigger than Mania? No, I don't think anything will be bigger than Mania. Because Mania is synonymous with pop culture, pretty much. But it'll be a fine pay-per-view. As far as the promo goes, again, I mean, it seems like a lot of people are reading into it. I can see why, because, again, Cody... With Cody, you're not sure where the character begins or ends, because it just seems like that's really him. Because, again, you see him on Twitter constantly vanity searching himself. I mean, there's a whole thing with him and Soup, which I'm not going to get into, because that's their business, not mine. And I don't like him and Brandy both. It just seems like they both vanity search themselves. Like, you can just say, like when he doesn't see a tweet that says, Cody's the man, he's amazing. Brandy is amazing. She's beautiful and smart and lovely. But when they find something like, I'm not a fan of Cody, or I didn't agree with what Cody said, or I didn't think his match was all that great, he'll go out of his way to reply to it. You know what I mean? Like, he seems like the type of guy that needs assurance. Assurance. It'd be like if he had a kid, and somebody was like, "Oh, you have such a beautiful baby," and his response would be, "Yeah, but what about me? I'm beautiful." But, yeah, I mean, the promo was what it was. I mean, it's a little ridiculous. Like, The Rock will always forever be the biggest superstar to ever come out of wrestling. Like, he's a guy that even if you don't watch wrestling, you know who The Rock is. You know who Dwayne is. Dwayne can still come back, or The Rock can still come back after being gone for a year and still light the place on fire and cut a great promo. And it'll be anything memorable. It'll be more memorable than anything anyone else could say, anything that Cody would say, or anything anyone from the Indies would say. So, again, it's just, that's my personification on Cody, is that I don't know where the character begins or ends. Because it just seems like he's trying to make out to be like, that's not him. But at the same time, I think I don't know, I just think sometimes he gets lost in the character. I don't know if he's a method actor or not. Yeah, that's my whole thing on the Cody Rhodes shoot video. Another wrestling promo video came out yesterday. It literally just dropped out of the sky. And it was glorious. Now I need to find the right one to make sure.
What's up, my peeps? Making an unexpected video here.
Nope, that's not what I was looking for. I don't fucking care. That's what I don't get. I hate when I'm trying to look for a video, and there's always somebody that has to do a review video on it. That's just fucking annoying. Where the fuck is the video at? Okay, here we go. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it was my second time watching the video. Really nice promo. I'm not sure where this is going, though. Because the whole idea behind Dean Ambrose leaving supposedly was that WWE wanted to give him time off to kind of heal his mind. And now he's putting out this video, so you're not sure where this is leading. You're not sure if he is using this as a way to go into another company, to go to AEW, to go to Impact or somewhere else, or CZW. I mean, nice video. I mean, obviously there's a lot of hidden messages behind it. He's stuck in a prison. He's literally writing down all the days that he's been in prison, which, counts. Prison represents WWE. The guards represent, I'm assuming, Vince McMahon and Triple H. He's finally found a way to get out of prison. And now he's back to his old self. He was in prison as Dean Ambrose. Now he's back on the streets as Jon Moxley. I'll be honest with you guys, I've never watched Jon Moxley. I've never seen his Jon Moxley. I mean, actually, you know what? I've seen some of his Jon Moxley work. I like some of his promos. Him as Dean Ambrose. I mean, Jon Moxley just sounds like a better name than Dean Ambrose. You know what I mean? I'd like to see where this is going. Is he going to show up on Double or Nothing? Maybe. Which just seems kind of weird because Jericho had said, AEW isn't a place for, ex-WWE talent that are unhappy. And then he comes out saying we would welcome Ambrose with open arms. Same thing with CM Punk, who they're supposedly going after. So, I wouldn't mind seeing Ambrose in AEW. What would they do with him? I don't know. Will they make him a top guy? More than likely. I don't know. We'll have to see. Because I've always been a fan of Dean Ambrose, but, his time in the company, it just seems like they don't know what to do with him. Like, he was always very hot and cold. Like, he would be hot, and then they'd find a way to cool him off. Like with, when they ended the Shield. The first time the Shield ended. Dean Ambrose was, thought of to be, the guy. Yeah, they were grooming Roman, but Dean Ambrose was thought of, to be, the top guy, next to Roman. But they always found a way to make Dean look like a loser, pretty much. They would always have him lose to Seth. Him and Seth main evented Hell in the Cell, and then they had that goofy Bray Wyatt hologram, which again did nothing for either men. And then he had a TV explode in his face. Again, did nothing for either men. They have him lose all his fucking time. They have him go out there and look like a complete idiot in front of Brock Lesnar. And he ends up winning, Money in the Bank and winning the WWE title. Where again, they just, I don't know, they like to make him look like Wacky Dean. I have no clue why they always went another way to make him look, foolish. But I don't know. He was a guy that had potential to be really a top guy in the company, but it just seemed like they didn't know what to do with him, and when they found something to do with him, they always gave him corny shit. But I don't know. So far, I'm digging this. I want to see where this is going. I want to see Jon Moxley. I want to see what he's made of. I want to see where he's going to go. If he shows up on Double or Nothing, I'll mark out. That would be pretty fucking cool. Who would he show up against? I'm not sure. But, if it's like one of those, a random guy comes out and be like, I want to challenge whoever in the back, and it ends up being, Jon Moxley coming out and beating shit out of him. It would definitely be interesting to watch. So now I'm actually looking forward to Double or Nothing if he's going to show up, or if any big name's going to show up. Speaking of big names, Goldberg is returning to the WWE ring at the next Saudi Arabian pay-per-view. I should have pulled that up, which is, I think, May 7th, if I'm not mistaken. Goldberg return. All right, June 7th, actually, my bad. Come on. Goldberg announced for WWE's June 7th return to Saudi Arabia. I'm on cage side seats. Friday, June 7th, date has been floating around for a while now, but this morning WWE confirmed some details for the next Saudi Arabian show. The event will take place at Jeddah's King Abdullah Sports City Stadium, the site of last spring's Greatest Royal Rumble. There isn't a name attached to the show, which will stream on WWE Network, but there are several names advertised, including Hall of Famer Goldberg in his first match since WrestleMania 33, The Undertaker, the recently retired MMA Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, Kofi Kingston, Seth Rollins, and AJ Styles are listed in the advertisement. Goldberg will be making a return to the ring. Which, again, it makes sense because, Saudi Arabia. The point of the Saudi Arabian pay-per-views are they want big names. They are fan. The Prince of Saudi Arabia is a fan of the Attitude Era. He's a fan of seeing guys from the Attitude Era like Triple H and Undertaker. So he wants names that he remembers. Of course, throwing the new guys, but he wants names that he remembers. So, Goldberg returning, it'd be interesting. I have a feeling the main event's going to be Goldberg versus, Brock Lesnar, but again, it's for the Saudi Arabian fans. I was reading somewhere that kind of made my stomach, churn, that apparently it's going to be Kofi versus Goldberg, and Goldberg's going to win, so they can have Brock versus Goldberg at SummerSlam, which I seriously hope that's not the case. I seriously hope that's not the case. Are they looking to have him beat Kofi in Saudi Arabia so that way they can say we're not being racist, or that way people can't accuse them of being racist? But I don't know how that's going to turn out. But I hope that's not the case. I hope it's just like, hey, we're going to have Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar in Saudi Arabia because it's a big payday. Everyone's going to get paid. Everyone goes home happy, or ish. The Saudi Arabian fans go home happy. So, yeah, there's that. The Saudi Arabian pay-per-views, again, I don't think they're meant for us. When I mean us, I mean people who actually want to see better names and different names and more better matches. The Saudi Arabian, fans, they don't want to see a barn burner, a 5-star classic. They just want to see stars. They want to go there and have fun. Even though it seems like they're not really paying attention, because when you look into the crowd, they're literally, the front row seats are literally sitting in couches. So I don't know how much fun they're having. Maybe they're having fun and they don't have to, go crazy to show it, but I don't know. That's most, not just most cities, most countries, I guess, react differently. You look at, the Japanese wrestling crowd, they're usually very polite. They're usually very they sit on their hands. You see a match like Kenny Omega versus whomever go on. If this were in America, like on an NXT or Ring of Honor, the whole place would go nuts. In Japan, they just seem like they're very they're very anticipating and they're being very appreciative. And if they think that they're young, they're being a little bit too crazy. But June 7th, Yeah, I don't know. More than likely, that's going to come on like at 7 in the morning, so we'll see how that works out. I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it. I'll probably watch it somehow, but I'm not going to go out of my way and wake up early to watch it. All right, what other news do we got? Wrestling-wise, supposedly WWE talents are purposely failing drug tests to get released, and WWE is not granting them their release. This story has been going on for a while, not just with failing drug tests, but the story with Luke Harper, and I feel terrible for Luke Harper because he goes on social media and he pretty much just he makes like this very nice letter saying, I'm leaving, I got a family, I'm gonna try and go elsewhere, and A, B, C, and D, and WWE just kind of puts their foot down and goes, yeah, no, you're not, bitch. We can fucking extend your contract, and they did. They're extending his contract, and now what do you do with Luke Harper? They're doing that with a lot of people. Apparently, Sasha Banks, apparently wants her release, and WWE is kind of, I guess, freezing her contract. Kind of like what they did with Neville, where he wanted to leave, but they didn't want to grant him his release. They just kept him there, but they didn't put him on TV. I think they did the same thing with Rey Mysterio back in 2015, where he wanted to leave, but they just let him write out his contract and then put him on TV. So a lot of talent, it just seems like they're very unhappy. And again, I don't blame them because you're seeing how it plays out on TV. You see a lot of talent go on Twitter and then express their unhappiness, and then somehow they end up getting over. I guess that's what Luke Harper had to do. He had to go on Twitter and express his unhappiness, so that way he can get a push. But actually, you know what? That works. That only works for women. My bad. That works for women. You see Naomi, bitching and moaning about how SmackDown women aren't appreciated, A, B, C, and D, and then she ends up getting an entrance on WrestleMania. You see Dana Brooke, who has never been anything, who's been a big pile of nothing, because she is a big pile of nothing. And then she bitches on Twitter about how she's not appreciated and that she should be on a pay-per-view. And now she's in the women's Money in the Bank match. And supposedly she might even win. And now it's coming out that she's in line, for a title run. Which, why? It just seems like at this point they're just begging me not to watch anymore. Like, huh? Think we can do worse than that? Huh? Like, watch. We're gonna make Bobby Lashley the champion by SummerSlam. Huh? Like, they're just... I don't get this mindset of if you whine and complain on social media, you'll get what you want. I don't get it. Like, especially if you're someone like Dana Brooke who's never been anything. Like, you weren't even good at NXT, and for some reason they decided to hotshot you, on the main roster, and you have been floundering. You're not really that good in the ring. You never really had a good match with anyone. You can't really talk. Have you noticed? With Dana Brooke, when she talks, it just seems like she's talking really slow. And she's trying to get to the basis of her argument. I don't know. I'm not surprised by anything anymore, because look what they did with Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. Like, they were literally nothing. But it just seems like they have a boner for Zack Ryder. Because again, they made him the Intercontinental Champion at WrestleMania a while back when he was nothing. And then they took it off him the next night. And then at Mania they decided to put the tag titles on him when Kurt Hawkins was really a pile of nothing. He was just a guy that came in to make others look good. So, and now they're losing. Same thing with the Iconics. The Iconics, they decided to give them the tag titles. And now they're losing. They're constantly losing matches, which means they're going to win their pay-per-view matches. Which, what? I don't get that. Again, I don't get that logic. Let's make a tag team that's not over the champs. that can't cut a promo, that suck in the ring. Let's have them lose all their TV matches. When they get to pay-per-view, they're going to lose too. Like, I don't know. Like, we've been wrestling together for 15 years. It's like, yeah, and it doesn't show. Just because you... the product is just very bad. I mean, that kind of jumps forward into the next topic of, the Raw ratings this past Monday hit 2.16, which is their lowest non-holiday Raw ever in a while, beating New Year's Eve, beating Christmas. Let me look in the the first couple hours. First hour was 2.33 million. Then it took a dramatic dip. Second hour was 2.24. The final hour, the third hour, was 1.89 million. Holy shit. Let me look at the ending Raw segments. We're not the final hour. You have Sami Zayn coming out and doing his best impression of Vince McMahon, telling the fans that they're ungrateful. Ray versus Joe, which, that's always going to be a good match, but to put that on the third hour, no. And then you had AJ and Seth doing their contract signing. Who exactly was their competition on Monday? And again, I should have probably pulled this up, but Nielsen ratings. How do I search it? Nielsen ratings from Monday? Okay. Nielsen ratings. Okay. TV ratings. Come on. Give me something. Oh my god, why does it always switch to Yahoo? For Monday. Alright, 2 ratings from Monday. Is this it? Okay, what was this past Monday? 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, 29. Let's try 429. Okay. Here we are. Okay, so what exactly was their competition? Is it 8 p.m. Central Time or Eastern Time? Either way. Alright, the highest rated show that night was The Voice, with 7.2, 7.20. Then you had The Resident, I don't know what that is, Big Bang Theory, The Show Must Go On, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Man with a Plan, 911, The Code, Arrow, Enemy Within, Bull, and then The Fix. Pretty sure there was an NBA game that night. I'm just not sure who played that night. Well, let me look up that game. Alright. And why the fuck isn't it letting me go back? Alright, let me look up NBA playoff ratings. Alright, NBA playoff ratings Monday night. Well, Spurs had the top ratings on Sunday. Good for them. Or Saturday. All right, Monday cable ratings for April 30 by April 30th. Come on, dude. Oh my god. I hate when this fucking thing likes to go extremely fucking slow. All right, the top of the Monday cable ratings are once again the domain of NBA and TNT. At the very peak of the chart, the Portland Trail Blazers went to battle against the Denver Nuggets. That's the second phase of the NBA playoffs. But yeah, no, I don't want to see any notifications. Go away. The game scored a 1.5 rating in adults 18 to 49, improving significantly on the 1.2 picked up by last week's game in Houston versus Utah Jazz. Second place, the Sixers face off against the Raptors, scoring 1.4. VH1 managed to capture the third slot, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, which held on to 0.8. It rose last week. Monday Night Raw continued to struggle to return to its place at the top of the chart, peaking at 0.8. You had Teen Mom, Street Outlaws. Okay, I have it right here. Top 25 original cable shows among adults 18 to 49 from Monday, April 29th. Alright. The Trailblazers, the Nuggets, had the highest, had the most viewers, 3,638, which is at 10:35 p.m. So, yeah, Eastern. Then you had the Sixers and the Raptors, which actually that was the highest rating, 3,829. What was WWE at? Yeah, all right. Yeah, I have it right here. 2.3, 2.2, 1.8. So Raw was going on at 8, or 8 Eastern. You have the Rockets and the Sixers at 8 Eastern with 3.8. And they had a 1.4 in the 18 to 49, rating. Whereas Raw had a 0.8. And their third hour had a 0.6. That was at 10. What else was going on at 10? American Dad at a 0.4. So they beat out American Dad. But, yeah, this game was finishing out. This game was already finishing out around 10. So they still had a higher rating. So you can make the excuse and say, oh, it's the NBA playoffs, people want to watch it. But that's still no excuse. What happens to the shows where there's not any competition? What happens to the shows where there's not Monday Night Football, where there's not the NBA playoffs, or there's not, the MLB playoffs? There's always, what was their excuse back in the Attitude Era? I mean, again, you're comparing apples to oranges, but that can't always be your excuse. Supposedly they're apparently going to hold, I guess, like a consensus, survey group to see what the problem is and to see how they can fix it. Which I hope that's the case. I want somebody to just tell Vince straight up, the show is bad. Like, why are we putting Baron Corbin in the main event? Nobody wants to see that. The contract signing should be something in the middle of the show. I mean, again, kind of pointing out the obvious, the show needs to not be 3 hours long. That third hour is always going to be the death hour. The show needs to go back to being 2 hours. And again, I don't even think it's WWE's fault. I think it's the network. I think it's USA Network saying we want the show to be 3 hours long. It's one of our top-rated programs. Using quotation fingers here. And supposedly Fox wants SmackDown to be 3 hours long. Which, and they supposedly want everybody on the show, which they'll probably get rid of the brand thingy by fall whenever that deal goes through. But the shows are just very bad. I mean, SmackDown is the better of the shows because SmackDown is more of the action show, but even SmackDown can be very unwatchable. It's one of those things where it's just like, and I've told this countless times before. Back in the day, even during Ruthless Aggression, I would go out on my way to watch the show. I couldn't miss the show. I couldn't even miss the first 5 minutes. Nowadays it's like, oh, Raw's on? I gotta go to work. Or, I'd rather watch this movie. Or, I'd rather watch this TV show. I'd rather play this game. Oh, I need to study. It's just, the shows are just very bad. There's nothing on the shows that are grabbing my attention. There's nobody on the show that's really grabbing my attention. I mean, I love AJ Styles. I'm AJ Styles Mark. I like Kofi. I like Kevin Owens. But I don't even think they can grab my attention. You know, it's coming to one of those points where you can watch the pay-per-view without having to really watch the shows. Even though the pay-per-views aren't that amazing, but you know, I'm already paying for the network. I might as well watch the pay-per-views. So I can explain to you a storyline, and it still wouldn't make sense. It still wouldn't even be that interesting. And that's another thing, is that the pay-per-views don't even feel like pay-per-view matches anymore. And I know that doesn't make sense. Hold on. But if you watched a pay-per-view match from like 15 years ago, it had that aura about it of like, ooh, this isn't a match we'd see on Monday Night Raw. This isn't a match we'd see on SmackDown, or even Velocity, or Sunday Night Heat, or Jacked, or Shotgun Saturday Night, or Metal. That's an old reference right there. It always had that aura about it, like, this is only a match you'll see on pay-per-view if you pay $50 or $70. You know, it had that aura about it. We're going to treat this like a pay-per-view match, so we're going to let these guys go balls out. But nowadays, the pay-per-view matches just seem like TV matches. Like, you know, Seth Rollins versus... I'm trying to throw out a random name. Kevin Owens for the blah 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 title. Which, again, that should be a pay-per-view match. But you watch it, and there's just something about it that doesn't click in your mind. Like, are you sure this isn't a match I could have just saw on TV for free? Like, you know, back in the day, I was like, do you want to see Shawn Michaels versus Batista? It's like, yeah, I do, actually. Then you have to pay $50 to watch it on Armageddon 2003. I'm like, Like, I'll still, like, fuck, where's my wallet? Nowadays, you know, again, those are matches that you would pay money to see, because the way they were hyped up, you know, the big, you know, the superstars that are there, you know, they had that aura about them of, you know, big-time superstars, you know, made the pay-per-view matches seem amazing to watch. They were able to make, you know, minuscule pay-per-views like Armageddon or Judgment Day. They were able to make those matches seem, you know, bigger than a TV match. Nowadays, you watch a pay-per-view and it just seems like a very expensive, you know, episode of Raw or SmackDown. That's basically what WrestleMania has kind of been lately. It just seems like a very expensive episode of Raw or SmackDown. And I don't know why. I can't, again, I know I just said why, but for WrestleMania is supposed to be, you know, the granddaddy. It's supposed to be the Super Bowl. It's supposed to be, like, I guess, the season finale of wrestling. So you would think that's the night where all these guys step up. I mean, I would think it would be the fact that there's like 20 matches on the card now, where back in the day there was like 10. You know, let me just pull up a random WrestleMania card. WrestleMania 25. Okay. WrestleMania 25. How many matches? 9 matches. 9 matches were on the card. 9 matches. I mean, granted, we didn't have, you know, the WWE Network back in the day, but, you know, I believe there were still, like, dark matches. They would have those, like, you know, let's just have a random battle royal to, you know, give the guys a WrestleMania thingy. But yeah, there weren't any. Oh yeah, the dark match at WrestleMania 25 was a tag team title lumberjack match between The Miz and John Morrison versus the Clones, Carlito and Primo, and the Clones won. That wasn't a TV match. You know, nine matches on a WrestleMania card. That's literally all you need. Now they want to put 17 matches, and they want to put on a segment for 15 minutes for no reason, and they want to have a musical performance. They want to make matches that should probably be given more limelight, shorter matches. They live in the era of, we don't want people to be upset and go to AEW. Let's give them a WrestleMania moment. Let's put them on TV. It's me and Peter. Pretty much, we just agreed on one thing. There should have been at least 5 matches from this year's Mania card that should have been cut. At least 5 matches. Because they could have easily had 12 matches on the main card, or no, 12. I'm like really fucking up my math. Math and Drew do not mix. So could have easily got rid of the 2 Battle Royal matches because nobody gives a shit about those. And then, 2 or 3 other matches. So it would have made like maybe 10 matches on the main card. 10 matches for 4 hours. Okay, there's no excuse for being able to not. Hold on. Alright, my bad, I got kind of sidetracked. There's no way you could have not ran through 10 matches in 4 hours. That would have been perfect. That would have been a good WrestleMania. Because when you look at the crowd, at Mania, they just seem like they were really bored. They seem like they were really fucking tired because they were there for literally 7 hours. They were there for 7 hours. And they're forced to watch all this trick. And so, again, sorry I'm getting sidetracked. But yeah, I think that's the problem with the Manias is that they're just so fucking long. You have like 15, 17 fucking matches. You feel like you're there. You feel like the crowd that's actually there. Because you're forced to sit there and watch all these matches. And then most of them are just dog shit matches that shouldn't even be on the card. Because if you look at it, Bobby Lashley co-main evented Mania. Bobby Lashley and Finn Balor co-mained WrestleMania this year. And I love Finn Balor. Bobby Lashley had really no business even being near Mania. Because you wanted, Finn Balor to appear at Mania as the Demon character. But, hold on. Sorry, I had to take a pause for a bit. But, yeah, the shows in general are just bad. They're just not very watchable. And the fact that they put people on, like, in the main spots, like a Baron Corbin or a Drew McIntyre or Bobby Lashley, it just doesn't help because we don't want to see those guys. Those guys are unwatchable. It's not that they're terrible. They were terrible in the ring. You have Baron Corbin, who's just a big old bag of meh. Who, for some reason, they love him. They love putting him in, the top spots. I.e., the opening segment and main event of Raw. Like what was that one show where he's like the the general manager of Raw. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. All right, I'm back. Yeah. What was I talking about? Yeah, all in all, the shows are just bad. And it's one of those things where it's just like, it's worse when you put bad people into those, top spots. But I guess it also doesn't help when you put, better wrestlers in that spot. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. The problem is the company is just not very good at making stars. The Vince McMahon, for whatever reason, doesn't want to make stars anymore. He doesn't. I don't know if he refuses to, or if he just, he can't find the right person. Which I think you can always find the right person to make a star out of. Because he had you had Steve Austin. They made him into a star because, he always had the reputation of being, a guy who can go out there and have a good match. And then he goes to ECW, and they teach him how to cut a good promo. And then they turn him into Stone Cold Steve Austin. Same with The Rock. The Rock had it in his blood, and he was able to train for a year and already get it. And then he went from being Rock and Maivia to The Rock. John Cena, another guy. John Cena, again, was a guy who can go out there and have a good match. But, he ended up being the Doctor of Thugonomics, and he became Super Cena. They don't have that guy. And, I don't know, I have a theory. I'm not sure, again, don't quote me on this, but I have a theory that I think Vince is just, I think he's afraid to make stars, because I think he doesn't want people to, he doesn't want to make people that are larger than him, are larger than his company. Because he made Stone Cold, and now Stone Cold, he has fuck you money. He doesn't need the WWE to fall back on. He'll make appearances, but he's not like someone who needs to come back, because he's already happy with what he's doing. Same with The Rock. The Rock is bigger than, as a matter of fact, The Rock has more money than Vince. I have to believe. He has more money than Vince. He can literally buy the WWE if he wanted. Like, that's how much money he has. John Cena's kind of getting to that point. Batista, he made his short-lived comeback, and now he's, back on the road making movies. He has Marvel money. He doesn't need WWE to fall back on. I think Vince is afraid to make guys that are bigger than the company, that will have fuck you money. Because you look at Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns is going to be in, the Hobbs and Shaw movie. But I don't think Roman is charismatic like The Rock, or charismatic like Batista, to be able to be a top guy in Hollywood. I don't think so. I mean, when you look at the WWE roster, do you think that there's anyone out there that could be a top Hollywood star? I don't think so. Seth? No. AJ? No. These are guys that want to be wrestlers. They don't want to be actors. So I think he's just looking for people that want to make money, but at the same time just want to wrestle. And don't have the charisma to be able to, carry it on outside of wrestling. I just think Vince is afraid to make top guys, because he doesn't want to make people that, when he needs help, that they can't help him. Or they don't want to help him. You know what I mean? So, and then there's the whole thing with the stock plummeting, which I usually don't talk too much about, insider information like stock exchange, but the stock dropped 10% in one day, and Vince blamed it on talent being injured. Is there anyone that can just interview him and tell him, do you think maybe the reason why the stock dropped is because the show wasn't very good? Do you think they're afraid to ask Vince questions? They want to ask him these very low-ball questions, and he wants to blame it on talent being injured. All right, so let's look at the past year. Who was out? Roman Reigns. I mean, because he was dealing with a serious illness. I'm trying to look for something. Dean Ambrose. He was hurt. I have nobody. Those are really the only two names I can think of. I mean, yeah, Sasha Banks, but in all fairness, were any of these guys are really moving the needle? They weren't. I mean, as big as a star as they try to make Roman Reigns, he wasn't a star. He wasn't really a star. He didn't have star quality. He had more of the the mid card quality. They're trying to make a mid carder into their main event superstar. I mean, when you look back at the Shield, the top guy was always Dean. The workhorse was always Seth. Roman was more of the cleanup guy. He was more of the guy that you can send him out and have him just beat the shit out of people. So that's my analysis on Roman Reigns. He's a good worker, but at best he's a mid carder. and they try to make him into a main event superstar. There's him and John Cena. John Cena always had the quality of a top guy. He always had the mentality of a top guy. Roman Reigns is not a top guy. Now they're trying to make him into Stone Cold Roman. Ugh. So I just wish people, when they go to these meetings, these quarterly meetings with Vince, they would ask him a little more honest questions. I wouldn't say very brutally honest questions. Just ask him fair questions like, would you blame the fact on the stock dropping that the shows aren't very good, that the pay-per-views aren't very good, that they're not selling out? And another example is, their next pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, is on the day of the Game of Thrones series finale. Not just the season finale, the series finale. This is a show that people actually watch. I don't watch Game of Thrones. I'm not a huge fan, but I know other people are. And, again, I don't know if you can blame WWE because maybe they already had that slot, and then Game of Thrones literally decide to, I guess, schedule it on that very day. So, which is why they're hot-shotting a lot of matches, because I kept saying Seth versus AJ should be for SummerSlam or even Mania, but they wanted to hot-shot it for Money in the Bank, and they already want to put Kevin Owens versus Kofi Kingston on Money in the Bank. The other matches don't look all that great. Miz and Shane in a steel cage, it looks interesting, but the Money in the Bank matches in general they kind of lose their luster because you already feel like who's going to win. Especially the women's. The women's looks very, very lackluster. I already have the matches up. In the women's, you have Natalya, Dana Brooke, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, and Carmella. The only two good talent out of that whole group are Bayley and Ember Moon, and neither of them are going to win. You already have a feeling. Who's going to win. They're probably going to give it to Dana. What? You look at the men's Money in the Bank. Yeah, Ricochet, Braun, Drew, Baron, Mustafa Ali, Finn Balor, Andrade, and Randy Orton. That seems like it could be okay. And then the other match is Becky defending her 2 belts. In one night, she's defending the Raw Women's Championship against Lacey, and she's defending it and Charlotte for the 20 millionth time. You have Roman versus Elias, which, the card looks okay, but is it gonna keep people's interest from not watching Game of Thrones? I think it's gonna be people that are gonna be watching the show physically at the arena, or they're probably just gonna leave before the show starts. So, I don't know. I said that I might not watch the show, but I don't know. I'm obviously going to watch pay-per-view. I usually change my mind at the last minute, but I'm not liking how the women's Money in the Bank is going to pan out. Becky Lynch. It seems like the bloom is almost kind of falling off the rose with her, because as much as we all hated Ronda, I never hated Ronda. But as much as, a lot of the smarks, the internet wrestling community hated Ronda, Ronda was what made this whole feud with Becky a lot more interesting. Because Becky was able to talk shit to Ronda, and Ronda was able to talk shit back to her. And then you had Charlotte there. But now that Ronda's supposedly not going to be back until next year because she wants to start a family, who exactly does Becky have to talk shit to? Charlotte? It'll be an okay match, but we've seen that before. Her and Lacey Evans, maybe that'll be a good match, but the thing about Lacey Evans, we'll talk about her in a bit, but, with Becky Lynch, is just it just seems like, yeah, she won the title at Mania. She won the titles at Mania, but now what does she have? What can she say? She goes out there calling people weirdos and dopes. Okay, is that something a tough, kick-ass, Irish brawler is supposed to say? No. Becky has kind of proven that she's better off talking shit on social media than during a promo. And I love Becky. It pains me to say this, but she's just not that interesting anymore. I mean, during her when she first became heel, quote unquote, she was a lot interesting. And then during, the feud with her, Ronda, on social media was interesting. Now with Ronda gone, she's really not that interesting. It's like when you have a crush on this girl, and you guys are talking on social media and texting, and you're saying all these really cool things to each other, and you're talking dirty to each other, and you're sexting and sending nudes or whatever, and then you guys finally meet up and you're dating her, and then 5 months in you kind of realize, holy crap, she is really not that interesting to talk to. Like when you guys actually have a conversation, you realize, yeah, she's outside of us talking about 69ing each other. She's really not that interesting, and that's unfortunately, I hate to use that comparison, but that's basically kind of what Becky is now. She's, outside of her, talking about how Ronda's a bitch and A, B, C, and D, and talking shit about her husband. She's really not that interesting. I don't. It's like, huh? She doesn't know how to do better promos with other wrestlers. She was like, it seemed like she was trained to talk shit better to someone like Ronda or Charlotte. But outside of that field, it seems like when she's talking to Bayley or Lacey or whomever, it seems like she doesn't really know what to say. It just seems like that's where the cornball stuff comes out. And the whole thing with Lacey is like, she's like, there's a video circulating on Lacey Evans where it shows her, I guess, where she's just like herself, and she gives like a very genuine promo as herself, and it's actually very good. Even William Regal was saying that's a very good promo. What makes a better wrestling promo is when you're vulnerable and you kind of speak a little bit of truth. For whatever reason, they decided to give her this Southern Belle, old school 50s gimmick where she's basically putting out a personality trait about women from the 50s that's actually kind of damaging to women. Because she's, I don't know, how many ladies do you know that would say, you have to act like a lady, but at the same time they're punching people in the face? Like, what they really could have done was use her background, because she actually has a legit background. She was in, the Marines, the Navy? She literally physically looks like someone that can punch you in the face, that can beat the shit out of you. Like, I don't get the basis of her gimmick now, where she's just coming out and interrupting Becky. What she really could have done, like what Mish, shout out to Mish from Wrestling Soup, she could have said, like, I don't think you're championship material, I'm taking that off of you. I'm going to show these people what a real woman is like, what a real woman's champion should be. Not you. You're a complete joke. Or something like that. They have someone underneath all this goofy gimmick that you could really make her a top girl in the women's division, post Ronda. But for whatever reason, they just can't help themselves. They have to give people goofy gimmicks. So, and I don't have a problem with Lacey Evans. Again, it's just the gimmick. The gimmick. People hate the gimmick. I don't even think they hate I think that's the misconception that a lot of people have, is that they think whenever we talk down on a wrestler, we're talking about them as a person, when we're really just talking about their gimmick. And with Lacey Evans, yeah, her gimmick sucks. She has a shit gimmick. But I'm getting the feeling that she's going to win on Sunday. I'm getting the feeling that Becky's going to lose both of her belts on Sunday. Because, again, just with the ratings, you can blame the fact that, yeah, we can say, putting Baron Corbin in the main event of, it was last week. It was him and AJ Styles in the main event last week. That was a bad idea. Or, the fact that, maybe some of the audience doesn't want to see AJ Styles in a top spot. How about we start blaming the guys that are in the top spot? Because, again, I love Seth, but Seth isn't moving the needle. I love Becky, but she's not moving the needle either. She's not cutting good promos. Kevin Castle made the point of I want to hear a lot of these podcasters, be a little bit more honest, especially when it comes to the top guys. And I'm not doing this because he's telling me to. I'm doing this because that's just, again, I'm being honest. I want to be honest with you guys. I want to be honest with myself. The top guys should be held accountable. I love Kofi Kingston, but he's not a top guy. I love Kevin Owens, but he's not a guy that's going to move the needle or I wouldn't say not sell T-shirts, but he's not going to be a guy that you're going to see on the marquee and go, I want to see him. So, again, Vince, it just seems like Vince is afraid to make any stars. Oh, man. I'm already like an hour into this. I still got more topics. I didn't watch SmackDown, but I heard the Hardy Boys had to drop the SmackDown tag titles because Chef got hurt. They basically talked about it over social media. Jeff, I don't know when he got hurt. They said he got hurt by Lars, but I don't know if that's in storyline or maybe he got hurt over the weekend. But that sucks. That sucks for them because when the Hardys beat the Usos on SmackDown to win the tag titles, that was huge. Because that was supposedly going to be a WrestleMania match, but for a reason they decided to make it a SmackDown match. That should have been a WrestleMania match. That would have been awesome. But it sucks for the Hardys. It sucks for Jeff. As anyone knows, I'm a Jeff guy. I love Jeff Hardy. I'm a Jeff Hardy mark. Hopefully, it's not a serious letting on. I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure what his injury is. What's Jeff Hardy's injury? Jeff Hardy injury. Rumors were that Jeff Hardy had injured himself, and the injury was visible on the 20th of April live event in Wisconsin. He got hurt on 420. He was limping around when Matt was wrestling in the ring. So it's obviously maybe something like a leg injury. Oh, he has an injured knee. There you go. He has an injured knee. Hopefully he's not out that long. I'm assuming maybe a month, tops. But, I don't know. Hopefully Jeff is back a lot sooner than later. Alright, that's enough wrestling talk. I'm going to try and wrap this up in maybe 20 minutes or so. I got to head out in a bit. Let's get into some entertainment news, some movie news. Scarlett Johansson will reportedly be a producer and also act in the Black Widow film that'll be coming out next year. It's supposedly going to start shooting in June. So she's going to get producer credit. She's also going to get a big payday for it. That'd be pretty cool. Because I don't even think Downey... I don't think Downey was ever like a producer on Iron Man, or Chris Evans was a producer on Captain America films. I just said Captain America films. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Good for her. Chris Hemsworth has apparently signed a new deal to stay in the MCU, which again makes sense. If anyone didn't see Endgame spoilers, Thor at the end joined the Guardians of the Galaxy. So James Gunn already finished. He finished the script like a year ago, even before Infinity War came out. So we're not sure what's going to happen. He hasn't came out outright and said Thor is going to be in it, but he was attached as a producer for Endgame. So, and Chris Hemsworth made it very clear he wants to stay as Thor in the MCU for as long as he can. Which, hey, give me more Thor. If Chris Hemsworth wants to stay in the MCU as Thor for as long as he possibly wants, just give him what the fuck he wants. That's all I gotta say. And then, Robert Downey Jr. expected to make $100 million for Endgame. $100 million. That's a dick ton of money. But he's also Iron Man. Give him what the fuck he wants. Chris Evans, Scarlett, and Hemsworth expected to make between $15 and $20 million. I would think, Cap would make a little bit extra money. What? No. I'm trying to do a show. What's next in the news? The entertainment news. Benedict Cumberbatch and Chadwick Boseman, Doctor Strange and Black Panther, both have one movie left in their Marvel contracts, which is not really that big of a deal because they'll more than likely renegotiate, especially with the current landscape of MCU. You're going to need bigger names, because they're more than likely going to do an Avengers movie, like a new Avengers movie sometime down the line. And you're going to need bigger names, because I kind of pointed out, if you're going to make a new Avengers movie, you would have Panther, you have Strange, Spider-Man, Captain Marvel. I guess somebody new. Put in somebody new. Maybe even a Thor. Keep Thor in there. So they'll more than likely renegotiate. That's what a lot of the stars did. I think that's what Evans did. That's what Downey did. They renegotiated after a couple movies. Avengers Endgame I think it already hit $20 billion, and it hasn't even been Thursday yet. That is fucking insane. A lot of people kind of skeptical as to how it happened. Basically, if you look in theaters pretty much across America, a lot of theaters are playing Endgame in pretty much all their theaters. Like they'll have Endgame, and it's like we're also going to be playing Pet Sematary, and we're also going to be playing Us. But if you want to see Us, make sure you get here by 5 o'clock, because after that we're just playing Endgame. Jeremy Johns on YouTube, shout out to him. He had an interesting way of explaining it, which is pretty much what I said, but let me just pull up my local theater. So, alright, you have Endgame and regular, you have 6 spots for a regular showing of Endgame. One of them has a dining option, the other one doesn't have a dining option. Then you have 1 spot in 3D. You have 7 spots in AVX. And then you have La Llorona and Shazam still playing in Us. So basically a lot of theaters are just trying to get Endgame out there as much as they can. I don't know if it's them doing it on their own or Disney saying, we need you to play this nonstop. Which I don't think Disney needs that, but that's basically how it works. $20 billion. I think that's more than Black Panther. I think that's more than the first Avengers. It might even surpass Titanic on the box office. I think it already surpassed Avatar. Actually, let me pull this up. Fuck, I closed the site. All-time box office numbers. All-time box office numbers. Okay. I have it right here. In my hand. Avengers Endgame is currently at 8. I don't know if this is the updated version. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is the updated version, but the one I'm looking at is currently at 8. Ahead of it is Furious 7, The First Avengers, Jurassic World, Infinity War, Star Wars The Force Awakens, Titanic, and Avatar. All-time domestic box office numbers. Avengers Endgame is currently at 20. Ahead of it is E.T., and I'm not even going to go through the whole damn list. I'll just go on Wikipedia. List of highest grossing films. Right. Yeah, Avengers Endgame is currently at 8. I think they can easily pass Furious 7. And then the first Avengers. I think they can pass Infinity War. I don't know. It seems like it'd be damn near impossible for them to pass Avatar. I mean, I'm confident in saying that they can maybe get to Titanic. Them getting to Avatar, that'd be tough. I'm not even an Avatar fan. My girl's more of a fan of Avatar than me. But wait, all right. Background shading indicates films playing in the week commencing April 26th. Okay. Yeah, I'm not even an Avatar fan, but that film made a dick ton of money, so I don't know if they can pass that. They could probably get to Titanic. That's a big probably, but could they get to Avatar? I don't know. But yeah, that's just fucking nuts. What's next? I have a couple more topics. The Batman, for Matt Reeves' Batman movie coming out in 2 years. They could announce casting sometime this week. We're not even sure who. We've heard like rumblings of like people who are interested in it, or people that Warner Brothers is interested in. Yeah, of course. But I don't know too many names. A lot of people just seems like they're more tied up with Marvel. Like every actor is connected to Marvel in some way. So I'm not even sure who could play him. It might even just be an unknown actor, which is usually kind of the way to go. Because I didn't know who the hell Christian Bale was when he first got cast as Batman. I literally had no clue who he was. And that worked out. That worked out the way it did, which was great. Something that Marvel usually likes to go with, quality over quantity. DC usually likes to pick, actors that aren't that well known and make them household names. Like Gal Gadot. I knew who Gal Gadot was because I watched, the Fast and Furious movies. I had no clue who the actor playing the Flash. I had literally no clue who he was. Actor who plays the Flash. Not Grant Gustin. Ezra Miller. Literally, I had no clue who he was. And I mean, granted, he was only in one movie. He was in Justice League, and he seemed okay. And we're not even sure when that movie's going to come out, or if it comes out. Jason Momoa, if you didn't watch Game of Thrones, you had no clue who he was, and he knocked out of the park with Aquaman. Ben Affleck, I've already made my qualms about it. Like, I like Ben Affleck as Batman. I thought he did a good job. I just think he wasn't really given a lot to work with. Because, the first time he shows up in it. He literally shows up in 3 teen movies. Shows up in BVS. He makes like a small cameo. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry, guys, if I keep pausing every 5 minutes. They're barking at something. And I look out and it's just our cats. But yeah. Ben Affleck, he was only in Batman for literally... he was only as Batman in like 3 team-up movies. He was in BVS. They didn't give him a lot to work with. He was in Suicide Squad for 2 minutes, which was probably the only good part about that movie. And then he was in Justice League, where he did a good job, but again, he didn't have a lot to work with. So I don't know. I like Ben Affleck. A lot of people, tend to bag on him. I was the only one that ever gave him a fair chance, and I think he did a good job. Just my opinion. So I don't know who could play younger Bruce Wayne Batman, because the idea behind it, as far as I've been led to believe, is I think they're going to do year 1 for a Matt Reeves Batman movie, which would be pretty fucking badass. But I think they already did that with Batman Begins. But we'll see how this one works out. As far as who they would choose, I don't know. Maybe like an unknown actor we're not sure about. Or maybe someone that's right under our noses and we just don't see it yet. The Rock went on his Instagram and congratulated Endgame, and because The Rock likes to give appreciation to other people, which is cool. And he gave appreciation to Endgame, and then he kind of teased a meeting with Kevin Feige. He said, we've been trying to meet up for a while, but it seems like our schedules, I'm just paraphrasing that our schedules, don't cross at the right time. So he's trying to meet up with Kevin Feige, so a lot of people are assuming maybe he wants to do a Marvel role. Which would be kind of weird because he hasn't even started work on Black Adam. Yeah. You look at Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin was Thanos, and then he played Cable at the same time. So there's no law saying you can't play a DC and a Marvel role at the same time. There's no law that says you can't do that. Granted, yeah. Josh Brolin was doing 2 Marvel roles. One was Fox, one was Disney. But I don't know. It'd be pretty interesting to see The Rock in Marvel. Who could he play? I don't know. Maybe he wants to come in as a producer or a director or play a hero. I don't see why The Rock would not want to be in a Marvel movie. It would certainly be interesting. Again, I'm not sure who we could play though. Now you got the newer characters are bringing in from Fox. The X-Men, Fantastic Four. Maybe he could play an X-Men role. Maybe he could play a villain. Or again, maybe he just wants to. Maybe him and Kevin Feige are just good friends. Maybe he wants to, start working on a TV show, for Kevin Feige. I don't know, because not every, I don't know. I think people are looking into it. I'm looking into it heavily because I'm not even sure what could happen. Anything could happen in the entertainment industry. A couple more things to discuss before I wrap it up. This was just announced today. A Ghost Rider series has been announced for Hulu with Gabriel Luna returning as Robbie Reyes. Gabriel Luna played Robbie Reyes on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series. I'm hyped up for that. Again, I've said it before that I'm not really a big fan of that Ghost Rider. I'm just a fan of the old school. The leather jacket, flaming skull riding on a motorcycle, as opposed to I'm going to be riding in a muscle car Ghost Rider. So, maybe Johnny Blaze will show up in this series because they indicated that Johnny Blaze does exist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's the one that gave Robbie Reyes his powers. So maybe I might like it. I don't know, because Robbie Reyes wasn't the focal point of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He was the focal point of that storyline, but they only brought him in a couple times. So I'll watch it because we haven't seen anything done with Ghost Rider in a while since Spirit of Vengeance. And that was bad. That was BAD bad. Ghost Rider is it's a fucking badass character. It's a character I don't think you can mess up. You can either make him too cornballish, or just. I think the only way you can mess up with him is if you make him too cornballish. That's really all I can really say about it. I'm looking forward to this series. They're doing something called, was it Hellblaze? Hailstorm, there you go. I don't know much about that character. It seems like he might even be linked to Ghost Rider. I don't know. I don't know. Marvel has a tendency to make characters household names when we never heard of them. Look what they did with Guardians. Ant-Man. The TV series take a lot of work because they're TV series, because it's a continuous thing. I haven't even finished Cloak and Dagger. I gave up on Runaways because Runaways doesn't do it for me. But yeah, looking forward to that whenever it does come out. They haven't announced a start date. They haven't announced a plot or a script. They just said, Luna is coming back to play the role, which that'd be interesting. Noah Centineo is cast as He-Man in the Masters of the Universe reboot. I completely forgot they were doing that. I have no idea who this kid is. What the fuck? I literally have no idea who this kid is. Like, he's one of those actors that it just seems like he's the new hot actor. And I literally have never seen anything that he's been in. So let me look at his filmography. To all the boys I loved before. It's a Netflix movie. Sierra Burgess is a loser. The Perfect Date. Charlie's Angels reboot. The Diary. To all the boys I loved before, Part 2. TV shows: Austin and Ellie, Shake It Up, Jesse, See That Run. So basically, he has a Disney background. The Fosters. Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Okay, this thing keeps going off and it's pissing me off. Yeah. He has a background with Disney, and he was on Keeping Up with the Fosters, which was on ABC Family, so that's Disney. So he's going to be playing He-Man. I don't know how that's going to work, because, again, I was too young to enjoy He-Man. I know my girlfriend and her brother are huge He-Man fans. Yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to work. Maybe he'll knock it out of the park. I don't know. But that's really all I got to say about that. And then finally, the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer that came out yesterday. Ugh. It just seems like... Because Pokemon looks like it's going to be good. I think at best it'll get mixed reviews. But it looks like it's going to be good. You have Ryan Reynolds. That's really all you need. This Sonic trailer is... I don't know why with video games they like to take video game characters and put them in the real world and see how that works. I mean, yeah, with Pokemon, but the Detective Pikachu trailer, they're in their own world. They're in the world of Pokemon with human trainers. With this movie, the trailer, shows, Sonic running really, really fast, and then he somehow goes from his world to the human world. That has never worked for anyone. That has never worked for any cartoon character or a video game movie. Didn't work for Mario Brothers. It didn't work for the Smurfs. And the Smurfs had the know-with-all in their sequel to say, we'll just stick around in our own world. Which I'm probably going to be wrong, and someone's going to lambast me for that. But Sonic, he looks weird. That's really what I gotta say. I mean, he doesn't look terrible. A lot of people have been saying he looks terrible. But, I don't know, he doesn't look that terrible. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to think of the movie. For all we know, it might be a great movie. It might end up being really fun to watch. It might be on par with Detective Pikachu. But the whole thing with, let's put him into the human world. You could have just kept him in his own world. Keep him in his own world, surrounded by his own people, which are, animals. And then that's when you have Dr. Robotnik, Egghead, coming in and trying to fuck with everybody. That's really all you could have done. That's all you needed. But we had to put him in the human world with James Marsden, who literally could have been played by anyone. I don't like James Marsden, but again, that's a character that could have been played by anyone. And then they had Gangster's Paradise playing in the trailer, which, again, good song. I don't see what it has to do with Sonic the Hedgehog, though. But, what do I know? But basically the whole plot is, Robotnik, played by Jim Carrey, who more than likely is going to carry the whole movie, is just being a diabolical bastard. And Sonic is the only one that can stop him. A lot of people are saying that he's copying Doctor Strange. I don't see why. Because they see the ring that he's hanging on, and they think that's Doctor Strange's portals. Those are his rings. Those are rings that Sonic the Hedgehog gets to I guess, get more experience, get more points in the game. If you've never played a Sonic the Hedgehog game before in your life. And how he's able to get from his world to another world. The Flash. That's how the Flash was able to get to Supergirl's, Earth. Because he ran super fucking fast to where he broke the space-time continuum. So, Sonic is fucking fast. I don't know. I don't know what to think of this movie. It doesn't look terrible to me. I'll still go see it. I'll pay money to go watch it. I don't give a fuck. I love Sonic the Hedgehog. It's one of my all-time favorite games. It's one of those games you can play and never get tired of it. It's a fun game to play. But I see a lot of people giving it shit. I can see why. It would surprise me if it was a shit movie. But I'm going to go watch it. I don't give a fuck. Okay. That's literally it. That's literally everything I have on the docket. I just got this random email. That's literally everything I have on the docket. I'm sorry, guys, for the delays during the show. A lot of noise in the background, if you know what I mean. So, and I'm sorry that there wasn't a Wednesday show last week. Again, I was feeling under the weather, had a migraine, couldn't perform. But we still did the Friday show with Architect, where we reviewed Endgame. That was a fun show. That show's still up, and listen to it, by the way. And we're already. That's a nice way to segue. We'll talk about shout-outs. Architect Podcast. Derek and Irving. Like I told these guys before, these guys go a lot more deeper than I do when it comes to like the nerd culture, like Comic-Cons and video game conventions, whatnot. I think they do a lot better than me, in my opinion. You can find them anywhere podcasts are found, like Google Play or iTunes. You got Wrestling Soup with Joey and Mish, which is every Thursday at 8:30 Central Time, 9:30 Eastern Time. Don't forget to go to their Patreon just for $5. You can get all types of original content, like Global Balding with John Draper, another good friend of ours. Shout out to John Draper. I'm trying to get him back on the show. We're trying to work that out. You can also get all types of original content, like fucking words. Like every single episode of Wrestling Soup from past to present. Like the first ever episode of Wrestling Soup, which is called The Soup Kitchen. Don Tony Kevin Castle Show. They are at 10:15 Central Time, 11:15 Eastern, every Monday after Raw. Go to their Patreon just for $5. You can get all types of original content like Breakfast Soup with Don Tony and Mish. You get Kevin Castle with his two shows, Castle Chronicles, which is his solo show, and Dark Chronicles, which is him and another good friend of the show, Lady Trez. Hello, Trez. Texas Podcast Massacre. Not too long ago, they just recently had their 100th episode, which is amazing. I'm like 20 episodes from there. Their most recent episode is about to have Kevin Castle on the show, so make sure to look for that. I want to get Kevin Castle back on the show. That'd be fun. Probably run up my 3 hour skin. So look for Texas Podcast Massacre. You can find them anywhere podcasts are found. If you guys already know about them, they're a horror podcast. They talk about horror movies, past and present. They make it very entertaining. I've been on there twice. We reviewed Insidious and Frailty. Those are really fun. Frailty was probably the funnest one. Julian from the Wrestling Court. I believe he's on before Wrestling Soup every Thursday. Julian, he's the hardest working man. Out there doing conventions, he knows his shit. He knows a lot more shit than I do. He's a good dude, by the way. I love Julian. Peter Position. I just did that episode not too long ago. You can find it on Spotify, I believe, and on iTunes. Make sure to look out for his show. And I'm forgetting somebody. Yeah, I'm probably forgetting somebody. If I'm forgetting your name, I'm sorry. But anyways, thank you guys for downloading the show and listening to it. I'll be back next Wednesday. And that is it. Peace.